It's reckless.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're gonna share with you some tips that we think can help you in your relationship in terms of management of money. Now, money is one of those areas that it can cause a lot of stress, anxiety. It causes a lot of disagreements because there are a lot of differences in how it can be managed. But we have what we think are some tips that can help you just kind of overcome those common challenges and maybe help give you some tips and strategies that maybe you haven't thought about before. So let's get right into it. So the first tip that we have is that you just have an open and honest conversation with each other.
Yes.
It sounds very simple, but usually it's very hard. And what we mean by that is, so usually with money, when two persons join in a marriage, they usually come in with their individual ways of managing their money. Maybe they were working, before, or they grew up thinking of, a certain way to manage money. Now they have to come together, and depending on how you choose to manage your finances, this could have a greater impact. But the approach that we chose was to count our money as one. So we plan for it together. And so even though we earn separately and those monies go to separate accounts, it's managed as one fund. So if I earn $5, Renee earns $5, we count it and budget for $10.
Right.
And we have just honest and open conversations about what we want, what we love to do. What are some of the things that we would want to enjoy in terms of whether we want to buy something. For me, it's all things relating to tech. For Renee, it's vacations.
Vacation. And another part of being honest with your conversations is letting your partner know if you have any debt, if you have any
Yes.
commitments that you have made that maybe you did not disclose before.
It's actually good to disclose that before you get
Before
married.
you get
I
married,
think you really don't want to surprise your partner with any maybe student debt or
whatever kind of debt, So that's a part of that open and honest conversation that's required. Speak about what you owe, what needs to be paid off, and also if there are any additional accounts. Now, there may be a tendency or a mindset that
I'm gonna have an account just in case.
Just in case account or that get vex money, you need to come to a place, if you're committing to covenanting with this person for the rest of your life, this person and God for the rest of your life, then coming to a place of trust is very important, and trusting them with your money as well. That's a part of it. That's a part of the journey. That's a part of the learning.
Yeah. So we think that if it is that you can't trust your partner to talk to them about everything regarding to money, then there may be some
underlying issues.
Yeah, there may be some underlying issues. It could be trust, or maybe you think the other person manages money irresponsibly and you don't know how to say it to them. And the answer is not to not speak to them about it. The answer is it may take them time to agree with you that maybe some of their decisions aren't right, but you can still discuss it and come to an agreement. That's our experience, and that's what we recommend.
Yeah, and be patient with the process.
Yeah.
If you're not in the same place, that's okay. Be patient about it, but seek to be improving as well.
Yeah.
It's not an easy journey, but it's worth it.
Yeah. So the answer is definitely not to hide. If you believe somebody is poor with money, don't just hide from them that you make X amount. We think that's essentially lying. So we don't recommend that at all.
Right.
So the next tip that we have is
know your financial standing.
Yes.
Know your position as a couple. know what you have in savings, know what you have invested, know what you have coming in as income each month from whatever number of streams of income that you have. Know where you are, know what your liabilities are. Do you have any outstanding loans to pay? Do you have any commitments for your funds? Those things need to be known. And it's easy for for persons sometimes to lose track of where the money is, especially if we do the safeguarding thing, like having funds come out of our salary directly, and going to a savings account or an investment account. We want to put it away. We want it to be out of sight, but it shouldn't be out of mind.
Yeah. So one exercise that was good for us to do was we calculated our net worth. We put all of our financial information in Excel, and we track our cumulative net worth. So we don't actually know our individual net worth.
Yeah.
we haven't tracked it that way in a very long time.
Yeah.
But we track our financial standing together. We have a clear understanding of all of our debts. We have a clear understanding of all of our assets, our investments, our pensions, our property, whatever it is. And we know that balance. So the net worth is the balance between your assets and your liabilities. That's your net worth. And we know that position, and it helps us plan for the future. So it helps us plan for our children, it helps us plan for our families, and it's been very helpful to us.
Yeah. So our next recommendation is to identify your goals.
Yes. So it's very important that you agree. So there may be individual goals. One person may want to go back to school. One person may need there may be need for an additional vehicle, whatever it is. You should identify, we believe, your personal goals in agreement, of course.
Yes.
And then the goals that you have as a couple. So a personal goal for me might be doing my master's degree. A goal that we both share could be going to vacation in a few months. So we want to have an understanding of everything, all of our goals, and we want to have the right time horizon for those goals.
Right.
It may not be feasible for me to say I want to do my master's in 2 months if we haven't spoken about it all year. It may not make sense unless we would have had a certain amount saved that we can now, go to that. So it's very helpful to have those goals written down. So a process that we use is vision boarding. So we write down our goals for the entire year, and we can then now plan and save towards those goals.
Right. And a part of that process as well. So if you're familiar with vision boarding, it's usually a pictorial representation of what your goals are for that particular year. But alongside that is the financial planning part of it. So if it is that you're planning, or we are planning for a goal, like say going back to school, the financial planning part of it is identifying what that target amount is for that school fee, for that tuition. What is that target amount? Where are we now? What is the gap that we need to close? And how are we going to accomplish that?
Yeah.
How are we going to close that gap? How much do we need to save per month? What instruments may we need to invest in? Which investment house do we want to use? Which broker do we want to use? Which instrument is most profitable at this point? We think about those things. We research those things. Well, Jermaine. And he does the research, and then we discuss and agree on where it is that we're going to put our funds and how it is that we're going to invest in order to accomplish those goals that we have set out to accomplish for the year.
Yeah. So, and a very important thing to note before we move on to the next step, when you set goals, things will happen. Like you have all the goals in the world, and then COVID-19 happens, or anything can happen. So you want to also save appropriately. Now
Yes.
we actually are one of those persons who we invest way more heavily than we save, but it's always good to have a little bit of cash to cover your monthly expenses for at least, well, the recommendation is 3 months. Ours is,
Three to
is
six.
ours is a little bit different, and we'll share that in future videos, but you want to at least have that just in case. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next point is to create a plan. Now, we kind of spoke about it before in the previous point. Creating the plan, which maps out how you're going to accomplish the goals.
Yeah.
Right. So you know, you know exactly what it is that you're going to do to be able to accomplish that target that you've set.
So we can give you a simple example for that. So let's say we want to buy a book. The book is for $100, and we both make $10 per month. We can say if we both make $10 per month, that's $20, and we're able to save $5 per month. It'll take us 20 months to get to that book. Now, I hope that math didn't lose you, but you get the idea. So you can look at the figure that you're trying to get to, and it works for anything. Look at the cost of your education, look at the cost of that vacation, the cost of the monthly payments for the car, whatever it is, and then just divide that amount by months, by your disposable income per month, and then that shows you the number of months it will take to get to that goal. That's what we do. It works perfectly for us, and it's something that we recommend that you look into.
And that's a very basic and linear example. Of course, if it is that you're going the route of investing, and you are investing in an instrument that has higher returns than a bank account, like just a regular savings account, then that would include some more calculation.
Yeah. So but well, I was trying to keep it simple for them. So if you are investing, so the principle you use when investing is you look at what's called an expected rate of return. So if using that same example of going for $100, if you are able to save $5 per month at a 20% per year return, then you can actually calculate that. So that would actually be $6 per year, $6 per month. Mm-hmm. No, actually, for the year, $60, 20%, $12. So that's $72.
Same math.
That is true. Same math. Good job. So, but yeah, you get the idea, right? So, investing is actually the way that we do it. We do that linear calculation, as Renee mentioned, and then we actually hope that our investments give us a certain amount of return to compensate for the difference. But we plan using the linear amount just in case the returns that we are expecting we don't get. So it kind of works in our favor if it gives us the returns that we're expecting. I really hope we didn't lose anybody with that, but if you need to watch it again, yes, just watch it again.
And finally for this video, review the plan.
Yes.
So when you make the plan, you will need to have periodic reviews. For us, monthly works.
Yeah.
We have a monthly get together where it's our financial discussion, it's our finance talk, and we go through the previous month or months and then look at where we are in comparison to where we want to be, what it is that we need to do, if there are any adjustments that we need to make, any
we talk about anything that, so maybe we weren't able to stick to the plan that we have, and we talk about why. Mm-hmm. Maybe there are things that we see as risks to our goals, and we discuss those and how to mitigate against it. If we have any repairs, anything to do with the vehicle, like we just talk about it, and that way it helps us to understand what to expect together. So There's
Right.
actually very little that surprises us financially because we have had those conversations for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and what it helps us to do as well is to identify trends in in our expenditure. So we know that some months are more costly for us than other months,
Yes, yes.
depending on what is happening, depending on how or just our lives are structured. So we know how to plan appropriately to accommodate for those months that are heavier for us on the expense side than other months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we definitely hope these tips helped you. And if you want to, well, we encourage you to share with us in the comments below, what tips or strategies you have for managing money.
Yes.
What's your experience been? Interestingly, I do want to know if you talk to your partner about money. What is that conversation like? Tell us about it in the comments below.
Yeah.
We look forward to hearing from you. Be sure to check us out on Instagram. We have a series called Let's Talk Money, where we share tips every Thursday about finances, tithing, anything relating to money that we can think of or that the Lord lays on our heart.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you in the next video.